massive casting questions surrounding this movie. That has, that's not going away. Those things are going to continue to be highly divisive, and rightfully so. They should be. And so we'll see. But I think this movie is going to be huge. I think it'll be a huge, huge movie.
Well, I have no idea, honestly. I assume you'll do pretty well. I don't imagine it would flop, but maybe. Who knows these days? I can't predict anything.
There's always the potential there for it to flop. And
I mean, who could have predicted that a fucking $105 million budget Predator movie would fail? That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask about that, yeah, because wow, Predator Badlands had quite the fall off. I think it was a 67% drop from weekend 1 to 2. So it's currently sitting, according to Box Office Mojo, anyway, at 138 million worldwide, and that's after 2 weeks. So you kind of have to assume it's gotten the bulk of its box office revenue already, and it's only going to drop further from here. With a 105 million budget, Mauler, you and I reckoned it was going to need what, 250 million to break even with marketing factored into that.
You know how there was like this thing about how it blew past its projections, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, it's a mega success, and it's dominated the Predator franchise." Blah 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 blah.
Biggest Predator movie of all time, Mauler. Apparently,
it's already like cycling below its even low estimated projections now, like overall with how everything's tracking. I guess The Running Man helped murder it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say what happened here.
I don't think that's doing terribly well.
Yeah, but even
I
The
don't
Running
think so
Man
either.
did very well.
The fact, I guess neither of them were going to do well anyway, but it's pulled off what few people were going to go. I don't know. I'm trying to think of it was such an amazing opening weekend, and 80% left off. Obviously 78, but still.
The cool part of this movie is the
fans. I think you had the Prey fans go the first weekend, and there just isn't that many of them. And you had a load of actual Predator fans who then told everyone else, "This isn't a Predator movie. This is nothing like the ones." Then you had the director go around and go. Well, the director came out and went, "No, it's not really a Predator movie because that's too basic and shallow, and we've actually evolved it now. And now you can't keep doing Predator movies. That would be ridiculous. We had to change what it was into something else that I liked." And I think that just puts off... There's now a large contingent of people that are waiting to see if something's well-liked before they go, and that's where your second weekend just dies.
Well, it dies as well because you know it's going to be available on streaming in like a month. So, like, why even bother? Like, with a shitty Predator movie that, like, no one's that super enthusiastic about, like, fuck it, I'll just wait until it comes out and I can watch it at home.
A lot of the curiosity that led people in for opening weekend, I think, has morphed into apathy and frustration. And without good word of mouth or good reviews, nobody wants to see the shit that Trachtenberg is shoveling, because they've essentially turned one of the galaxy's most dangerous hunters into a Disney princess. And nobody wants that.
No. Also, it doesn't help that there's no big names attached to it. Like, Elle Fanning, I don't think she's exactly going to like pack out movie theaters or anything. The Predator itself is just...
The budget was too big. It was their first major mistake with this entire project. How could you spend that much money on a Predator movie? You stupid. You're not going to be able to make all that back. More than likely, anyway, it would have to be a great movie with the star-studded cast that everyone thought was a fucking generational.
Yeah, like, why put it on an alien planet where you're going to have to do a shit ton of CGI, like, and basically put it to like a Marvel level of like monsters and all that shit? Do it on Earth where you're fighting humans and the budget is nice and low. You like do it for 50 million, and then you've probably got a decent shot at making a profit off it.
That's how Predators made money. They had like a $40 million budget, and I think it made 120 worldwide. So you couldn't say that they lost money.
You know something that bothers me? It's such a nerdy nitpick, but at the same time, it's actually relevant to this. I didn't like the faux lightsabers. I didn't like that they've got these swords that light up and they do the thing. And in my head, I was like, why does this bother me? And it's like, I think it bothers me in everything that's not Star Wars when people are like, we have lightsabers too, but they're totally not lightsabers like in Rebel Moon. But when you watch the original, the fucking slick sort of way those knives come out, and there's nothing energy weapony about them. They just cut the shit out of the things he wants to kill.
Blades.
And
the only energy weapon
when they come out
is the plasma caster on its shoulder, and that's very much built up as the projectile weapon that it uses.
It's but the carving, right? Like it's all very personal with a predator if he's going to get up close. Hence, like the fist fight, at the end as well. But I was just thinking, like, man, the fact that I way prefer the aesthetic and the way that like it comes across the blade coming out of the wrist, the way that it carves the shit out of people, and then it's like, think how much more expensive it was to make the lightsaber swords as well. Like, it would have been way more than just a blade. Yeah.
You know what makes it even more retarded is when they use like lightsaber ropes to tie down Dick, the Predator. You know, when his brother has to kill him, and it's like his dad just like throws like a fucking lightsaber projecting ropey thing on the ground, and it just like it grabs his arms and like pulls them down, and then he's like held in place by these like laser ropes. Why? Why not just use actual ropes or like manacles or something? Like, why does it have to be this stupid sci-fi stuff?
It's so true about the CG that it's just everywhere. And it's like, if you cut back on this a bit, you could probably fucking half the budget. Calm down.
It's the same with the Marvel movies. They don't wear the costumes. They just CGI them. Their hair's fake. They don't put any of the makeup on her anymore. They don't have all the faces built up with all the add-ons and stuff that I would just add it on. We just put dots on them. Everything has got lazy because it's easier for them and it just offloads the work onto someone else and massively inflates the budget. There's no reason at all that a movie has to cost $100 million. I genuinely think you have to basically try and spend that amount of money. And you've just grown up in this time where every movie has always been profitable, and so everyone's just wasted money for decades, that no one's actually treating it like a business where every penny matters. Well, and Hollywood would probably do with their own kind of Doge department of just having someone come in and just cut all the way through. And I think they easily save fortunes.
Well, I've heard it described as, like, with a lot of movies, they don't really know what tone and location and stuff they want for a particular scene, and so they'll shoot it in the most bland way possible with the most generic lighting, a green screen behind the actors and stuff, because it's like, we'll just CGI the shit out of that later once we've figured out what exactly we want to happen in this scene, because we don't know what the test audiences are going to say, we don't know what all the focus groups are going to say. We'll wait until we hear all of that feedback before we put the final version in, rather than just saying, hey, I've got a real artistic vision for this, I know the story I want to tell, and I'm going to put that stuff in there physically, or I'm just going to shoot on location or whatever. And I don't know, man, it's like the same problem you have with taking pictures on your phone, right? When back in like the old days when we were kids and you had literally a camera with film in it, you had to kind of think carefully about the pictures you wanted to take because you only had so many of them. Yep. Now you're on location somewhere, you want to take a picture of the family or whatever, like you'll take like 50 pictures of them and it's like, fuck it, I'll delete 49 of them later and I'll pick the best one because it's infinite. That's the problem you have with filmmaking as well. Like there's an abundance of choice to the point where there's no vision anymore because you don't need one.
Yeah, you would also, on the photograph, you would care about the frame or the composition to get everything right. And so you spent all that extra time making sure it was perfect. Whereas in this, if they can just do it you would think the most basic thing that you should do with a movie before you start filming it is to nail everything down. The script should be done. What you want done, it should be done. And it's like, even recording a YouTube video, as you're making the video, in your head is like what the final thing's going to be, how you're going to edit it. And it doesn't seem like Hollywood has that when they're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars. And it just seems like it's very easy to waste other people's money. And if you give someone a budget, they will spend it and they will do everything they can to reach that goal. It's almost like a target for them. And it just seems like someone needs to basically limit the budget, send them in with less than they demand, and then make them kind of reach that. So they're more creative. What is it? Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've talked about this many times before, but like, I would always advocate for like the practical effects over like CGI. And, like some of the scenes that I've cited before are like, say in the movie Aliens, right? The shootout scene where the aliens break through the ceiling and crash down to the floor and start like swarming them in the control room. There's a moment where they're all firing their pulse rifles at them and like there's pyrotechnics going off everywhere. There's like a bunch of like people obviously in alien rubber suits like making their way through all this like devastation and carnage around them, and a couple of them get hit or whatever and then fall down. to choreograph something like that and get it just so that it looks exactly right, so like the right number of hits, the right people are moving in the right place at the right time, all the pyrotechnics go off at the right time, and all this stuff that you've carefully set up explodes at just the right moment. The amount of work and planning that would have gone into that would be ridiculous. It would have taken weeks probably just to get that one shot that's on screen for like 3 seconds. But holy shit, it looks a million times better than any amount of CGI crap that you could shovel in there. That's the difference.
It would be far cheaper to have like 3 guys work for 3 weeks to plan everything meticulously than to get a guy to CGI it and then change the CGI and then do it all over again. The post-processing, it's almost, you're getting someone else to fix your mistakes for you, and it just makes you lazy. And it also means that you'll never evolve and like improve because you don't have to. You're not even thinking about it. It's just someone else's job.
Oh, not again!